So today I'm really glad to join you guys to be telling you a little bit about safeguarding energy and environment with a focus on the installation of electric power lines for the Egyptian Vulture in the case of Ethiopia. So I'll just start by introducing Ethiopia as a power hub, or giving you some basic information regarding Ethiopia towards the energy sector. And I hope you will have the patience to hear some unrelated jargons also on the way. Okay. Okay, as you may all know, probably, that we have a very wide range of landscape type, I would say. So we have places like 126 below sea level and above sea level up to 4,620. And this range gives Ethiopia a wide variety of climatic zone at the same time, and different landscapes. And basically, it resulted in having 4 climatic zones and abundant plant and animal species. So one another information regarding Ethiopia is like we are now 180 million people living in our 1.1 million square kilometers, and So Ethiopia is referred now as a water tower of Africa, basically because we have more than 30 rivers originating from our land, flowing outwards to neighboring countries, and actually none is coming towards the country. So we are giving water to neighboring countries, and also we're considered as water tower of Africa because of our high altitudinal existence. As my memory serves me correct, the capital city of Addis Ababa is one of the high altitudinal capital city in the world, and also the African landmass above 3,000 meters lies in Ethiopia. 80% of it lies in Ethiopia. So that tells you, how all these 30 rivers flows outwards. So it makes it ideal for the hydropower generation. We have the potential of producing 45,000 megawatt electricity from hydropower only, and that potential is achievable because of the low cost, or the low cost of producing kilowatt hour. $0.05 of kilowatt hour to produce. We only expend that kind of money, so it is really relatively cheap, so we rely on that. So 90% of our energy is from hydropower, but that does not mean we don't have any other form of sources, like we have wind, biomass, and also geothermal resources, but they all contribute almost 10% of it. So actually, you can say that Ethiopia has a pure or greener power generation style, but at the same time, among other things, we have we have a low production capacity, because currently we're producing only 5,300 megawatt, which is, when you compare it to 45,000 megawatt, our potential, that is really very small at the moment. But we strive to reach that capacity in the coming 25 years. In the meantime, we have 22 power generation stations, among 16 of them are the hydropower. I'm just, telling you these aspects because I want to link how, it is really important to have the idea, or the pressure, the need for the energy, and that we are trying to have the silver bullet to manage our biodiversity also. So currently, 45% of our household in the nation has the capacity, the electricity. They enjoy electricity in their household, and also the country also gets an income of 20.9 billion so that is quite something for from the income perspective, so Ethiopia also selling at the moment electric power for Djibouti, Sudan, Kenya. So we're getting hundreds and hundreds million of dollars every year for selling this power to our neighbors, and Somaliland and Tanzania are also on the waiting list. Why I'm telling you this also is you see the drive for production of the energy from the economic point of view. So we're trying to increase our production to 30, 40 thousand megawatts in the next 20, 25 years. So okay, so but this was always encountered by so many problems in the country. So as you might know, we are developing countries, so we face the inadequate way of distributing our produced electricity. So one of the problem was the outage of or fluctuation on the medium and low voltage lines due to inadequate load balancing, poor design of electric infrastructure, insufficient insulation of the power and equipment, in power lines and equipment, but lack of the bird-friendly energy infrastructure also is a big problem, alongside the theft. People will take some part of the power line for its monetary value of it, because some of the lines have the copper, as you might know, is kind of getting a scarce commodity this time. So it has got a very lucrative business, and also it has got a negative impact on the power production sector. So you can see the country started to have a bare wire, which is not safe for birds, and also to have a different metallic combination, different metal that conducts electricity, but not copper. So that also have an additional impact, along with the forms of electricity, power line designs. As you might see on your right side, you will see the medium and low voltage lines, which is actually a very risky day-to-day activity for bird life in near dump sites or near a battery, or whatever you find them along their migratory route, or whenever they're trying to roost or get foods from different parts. So this has caused really an ecological imbalance, because we need the energy, we need the growth, because the 118 million people need to somehow to support the economy. For that economy, you need an energy resource, and it has to be a little bit of a green one, but at the same time cheap to produce. In the case of Ethiopia, is a hydropower. So as you see, we have the potential, and also we are in the process of developing these power resources for us, for the benefit of our neighbors, and for different activities. So while producing this, you will also wonder, I don't know where I put that information before, but so this will also have a pressure on the low and medium voltage production and distribution, because it is going to be increased in lengths and distribution lines. So this will going to affect without any doubt, is going to affect the migratory routes, and also bird lives, which are really problematic, and which really cause the ecological imbalance, because as we are in the third world country, we can't afford to have a proper way of cleaning our debris, or carcass, or some kind of dead bodies. And because of that, we highly rely on these magnificent flying guilds to clean or support that sector for this very good reason. But at the same time, they do so because there is plenty abundant of food in different parts of the country, while we are depending on their existence. Though electricity is one of the biggest problem, also there is to some extent the poisoning issue. So we can't ignore the influence of economic and energy production on the life of the birds, the bird conservation sector. So today I will just pick out an Egyptian vulture point of view, because this project that span in 14 different countries from Europe, Middle East, and Africa. So in these 14 different countries, lots of things are happening, and lots of effort were being done to maintain a previous, to go to the previous number of Egyptian vultures, which was really abundant, and which was in a good status 30, 40 years back. So I'll try to see that project, how it has been done in Ethiopia, and what we have been doing, and what are the impacts, and what we learned from that. So these are the magnificent creatures that are flying 5,000 kilometers from Europe to Afar, where they spend their winter season. And the project is being done between 3 or 4 different stakeholders. That will be one, the Ethiopian Wildlife and Natural History Society. The second one, Ethiopian UCA, or Ethiopian Wildlife Authority. And the other 2 different offices, Ethiopian Power Utility and Ethiopian Power Service. These different offices works together to ensure the uninterrupted power supply for different parts of the country, while trying to to consider the bird conservation, which our office is trying to do. So to save an endangered species of the Egyptian vulture in 14 countries, we have these 4 different goals. Basically, as I told you, the problem in Ethiopia is electrocution and to some extent poisoning. So over 30 years, 80% of the population just went just like that. So this, you can say, you can give different reason to the disappearance: lack of food, poisoning, electrocution, different agricultural chemicals, like religious use of body parts of the vultures, and different cultural beliefs also contributed to all this. But having also said that, we are now at record time low number of birds, number of Egyptian vultures at the moment. But having said this, the great number, relatively, the great number of migratory birds resides in Ethiopia during the winter season. 1,500. Recently also, like 2 or 3 weeks back, we were also on the field and did our survey from some part of Ethiopia, Metahara to Afar, which will take us several hundred kilometers. We managed to count more than 1,700 individuals, and at different plumage stage. So that's also somehow encouraging. At least the number is just, there. So we are looking at this. As I try to point out, these are the different stakeholders, and what we have been doing is we start, to count Egyptian vultures, which died for different reasons. It could be electrocution or poisoning. While we start surveying, we'll find dead birds around the pylon, and most of the time that is around the abattoir or dumping site. So we try to investigate whether that is because of the electrocution or collusion, or some kind of poisoning. So we have done so many things. Among those was the tagging of Egyptian vultures and creating awareness. And in doing so, we tried to engage different personalities from different offices in the country, which have different influencing capacity, but we're not aware of what's happening. So we had numerous trainings. When I say numerous, like 10, 12 of different trainings were given. That's quite a lot from our point of view. So we've been giving that training to different offices, decision makers, experts, and technical experts also. While we are doing so, we also went on the field and tried to address the same thing with the scouts of different national parks. For instance, here we've been giving training for Awash and Haladegi Asabot national parks. These are scouts. We've been given training for 3 or 4 days, which included a field activity, at the same time theoretical lectures. In the meantime, they were able to identify birds, especially vultures, and at the same time, if they encounter dead birds, how to report, how to collect and put it in a very nice way in a database and report it to whatever they have to. So among these things, this these are the different reports that shows you that we're tagging birds, and that was their migrating, paths, and yes, this is some form of evidence that we've been doing this, and this has been reported on the project website, and we're lucky to get funding and technical support from Life Project and Egyptian Vulture New Life Project also. One of the things was, as you know, we had a running nation where we have very good elite athletes performing the unthinkable on the athletics field, and thanks to our hero Haile Gebrselassie 20 years back, he started the Great Ethiopian Run in Ethiopia, which is now one of the 10 outdoor activities in the world, one of the 10 must-go outdoor activities. You can say it's a kind of a festival. It's also an event where you show you have the guts or the ability to run at high altitude and be in a fierce battle. So we managed to exploit that opportunity to make awareness about this Egyptian vulture, which is also a very good, if you consider it, like this bird also flies 5,000 kilometers less than a month, okay? You can compare that to a 42 kilometers or 10 kilometers running. It needs energy. It is also about endurance. It's also about so many things, passing through so many barriers. So we want to introduce to the world in a way that everybody understands and support this important conservation activity or project. So we were the message sponsor for that a particular event in 2020 under the theme of bird safe energy infrastructure. So we managed to reach 1.7 billion households in the world. So this is one of the big achievements to assure that everybody is listening or everybody is watching what's going on while it has got the message. And also, we were also very good in telling this for the organizers, and the organizers went to be very impressed on what the birds can do for us ecologically. So they contacted us further, and they now are starting to put that team or that concept into another running event, which is happening every month at the high mountain outskirts of Addis, that is in Toto. So that's also a big achievement. So that's what it tells you here in a different published website snapshots. Here you're watching that we're trying to address or engaging the next generation because one of the fantastic minds resides in these young and talented individuals, and where they live, where these magnificent Egyptian vulture migrates. So we were highly engaged with schools, primary schools, and you are looking that we were designing a play and also lectures, and also celebrating World Migratory Bird Day with the students. And also we're supporting the school with internet access. At the same time, we're also supporting them to have a better access to water resources, and we are helping them to use their water in a proper manner so that students also can plant trees and also see some birds while nesting there, and also working along with their teachers in their environmental clubs. So that was really a very big achievement for us also. And I can say now we have a very good, grassroots level support group in these two different schools in Matara and Afar. So some of recent outcomes that we have to consider is like, here you see dead Egyptian vulture, which was tagged. And on the left, you can see how many kilometers were being surveyed and how many birds died. And 11 of them were Egyptian vultures. And that's really important. It's a very huge number for us because we're trying to conserve a bird species which went down more than 80% within the last 30 years. So every bird counts. So every bird life counts. And on the left side, the upper part, you see which form of the electric power line is really dangerous and how they're affected. You can see the different forms of pylons that are causing problems. And if you're also interested, here are some of the, the cities and where we found those birds, and also the power type, like the middle and lower voltage power lines, also indicated by 3,000 kilovolts and 15 kilovolts, and some details also with the pin insulator, if that tells a little bit more. And these were the group, constantly working to prove that there is a very important work to be done regarding electrocution and poisoning. So nearly 50% of respondents that we were being questioning were telling us using some kind of poisoning, to tackle the wildlife conflict. So this is just to highlight some of the problems also from the poisoning part. Okay. Okay, I don't know what is missing here. I'm sorry for that confusion, but on your left side, what you see is the result of a poisoning. A jackal ate the poison, but it doesn't stop there. There was also a hyena and a vulture, Egyptian vulture, that tries to eat the carcass and resulted in having a fatal end. So we were also able to collect the GPS transmitter, but it's quite saddening event back then. So what we also were doing presently was, as I told you, as poisoning also was a problem. We were trying to promote the wide use of agrochemical protocol. So we tried, or we helped to have the protocol to be produced. And for that also, after these experts produced, we had a validation workshop to give, a last minute remark and internalization with the important stakeholders, so that it can be put into action as fast as possible. But at the same time, we are in the process of installation of the hazardous pylons under this Egyptian vulture new life project. And now we also got the equipment, the hardware that's really important for installation, thanks to the BirdLife partners in Bulgaria and BirdLife Africa, and relentless effort from our office, WNHS also. And the materials now are in our hands. what is remaining now is to train the Ethiopian electric power personnel how to use those items to protect or insulate these things. And this will definitely happen in the next 3 to 4 weeks, which I'm really excited and happy about. So we will be able to see whether this thing works or not, because we'll clear everything under the pylons first, and then we insulate those power lines we identified to be hazardous and on the way of the migratory route. And then we will see what's happening after 2 or 3 months, and also during the migratory season. And if there is any difference to be achieved, to be seen, which we are really hope for, we will expand and use that pilot project as a prototype to convince the power utility companies, because whenever there is an electrocution, there will be a power interruption, which is a very costly business for different stakeholders. For the power generation company, they will totally lose the amount of electricity at that time to be sold, because there is no recovery for that. And also they have to maintain it. And then to maintain, they have to mobilize the human labor, at the same time resources, and plus they have to have this tracing activity, which takes time, because they don't know where the power cut has been caused, or they cannot pinpoint it. So they have to trace kilometers after kilometers whether there is a power cut or not. And that is also a very, very troublesome business. But at the same time, there are also different little or to medium industries and manufacturing companies around there, which needs the power generation. And individuals also at home, they need the power to use different utilities, and also service providers like police station and health facilities also need that electricity. So we can't afford to have generation at every station. So generator at different stations. So everyone is keen to see the end result, and we are also can't wait to see the result and have a conclusion remark in a very loud and plausible manner, so that they can hear the decision makers, the policy makers, listen to us and do something about it sooner or later. And that's it, what I have for today. And I'll be open for your suggestion, comments, and any other questions. I'll be available from now on. Thank you for listening.